Welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Vivian Ezadefi and the sign language interpreter is Hannah Olayinka. You can watch this news on our various social media platforms displayed on your screen. Let's start with the headlines. Prince Harry and wife in Nigeria on private visit, promoting mental health. Nigerian partners Saudi Arabia to boost food production. Federal High Court refuses to vacate its bench warrant on former Governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello. Defendants to appear in court in June for arraignment. Prince Harry and wife Meghan are in Nigeria to champion the Invictus Games and highlight mental health. Earlier on, defense correspondent Najatu Tijani covered their arrival at the defense headquarters, where the successors had a meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa.
On arrival, Prince Harry and Meghan visited children at the Light Academy in Abuja, Nigeria. The couple is also scheduled to attend a training session for charity organization Nigeria Unconquered, which collaborates with the Invictus Games, as well as reception where military families will be honored. The Duchess is also scheduled to co-host an event of Women in Leadership with Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the Director General of World Trade Organization. Other items on the agenda for the royals include a basketball camp with Giants of Africa, a cultural reception, and polo fundraiser for Nigeria Unconquered. Prince Harry and the wife also visited the defense headquarters, where the president of the POA and wounded soldiers received them. At the time of this report, Prince Harry and the wife are in Kaduna to visit the wounded soldiers. The trip marks the first time the royal couple is visiting Nigeria. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
That was Kolo Muhammad's report and not Najatu Tijani, as earlier introduced by me. Moving on now, the federal government has commenced a strategic partnership with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia Ministry towards revamping the Nigerian agricultural sector. This came to the fore as a team of investors from the kingdom engaged government officials in Abuja. Musa Babaliu has more.
This is a delegation from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The team consists of Minister of Agriculture, Water and Environment. They are here for discussion on how to improve the existing trade ties between the two countries, especially in the areas of food production. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, said going by the ongoing reform in the livestock subsector, there is huge potential for investment in ranching, animal breeding, feed and pasture development.
There abound huge potential for investments in ranching, breed improvement, feed and pasture development, as well as value addition, especially in the special agro-industrial processing zones that have been delineated across the country for crops and livestock development.
We believe Nigeria is the country with the biggest absorptive capacity for investment in agriculture, and we want partnership so that both Saudi Arabia and our private sector can be richly rewarded.
Also speaking, the chairman, Nigeria Governors Forum and Governor of Kwara State, Abdulrazak Abdurrahman, said Nigeria is working to improve our production for domestic consumption and export.
It's a partnership that will yield progress. So I welcome the Saudi delegation to Nigeria and also thank the government of Saudi Arabia for grant and support to Nigeria in the field of human capital development and education as well.
That Nigeria has some comparative advantages and a need, to invest wisely in the agriculture, food sector, whereby we will be targeting the Nigerian market or exporting, to the nearby countries.
The visit is a follow-up to the bilateral engagement between the ministers at the recently concluded Saudi African Summit. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
COVID-19 virus has mutated again, leading to the formation of two new lethal strains, KP2 and KP1.1, the Flate variants, just as AstraZeneca begins worldwide withdrawal of the COVID-19 vaccine. Uche Ugochukwu completes the report.
Reports say the new group of coronavirus strains are the descendants of the Omicron JN.1 variant, which was dominant globally in the year 2023. According to the reports by the Infectious Disease Society of America, flight cases have soared in the US, UK, South Korea, and New Zealand, renewing fears of a fresh COVID-19 wave. Taking cognizance of the situation, the Indian SARS-CoV-2 Genomics Consortium has detected 238 cases of KP.2 and 30 cases of KP1.1 circulating in India as of May 6. Experts have revealed that flight is capable of evading the immune system, which means a fully vaccinated person can also catch the infection and develop symptoms. Meanwhile, the WHO's Technical Advisory Group on COVID-19 vaccine composition has recommended that future vaccine formulations include JN.1, and discussions on these are ongoing. Despite the potential threat posed by the flight variant, the current data indicates a lower infectivity rate compared to previous variants, offering some level of reassurance.
It appears they're more immune invasive, which means that the antibodies that we've been building up from vaccination prior infection are not quite as effective against these new variants.
However, ongoing monitoring and adaptation of vaccination strategies will be crucial in addressing the evolving landscape of COVID-19 in Canada and globally. In the meantime, AstraZeneca, a British-Swedish pharmaceutical and biotechnology company, has announced it is withdrawing its COVID-19 vaccine, Vaxzevria, worldwide. According to the multinational pharmaceutical company, the vaccine is being withdrawn because it can no longer compete with updated COVID-19 vaccines, which tackle the new variant of the infectious disease. AstraZeneca, in a statement, maintained the vaccine was no longer being manufactured or supplied because it was superseded by the newly produced vaccines. The company has relinquished its marketing authorization in the European Union and also intends to do the same in other countries in the coming months. This means that Vaxzevria is no longer authorized to be marketed or sold in European Union countries and any other country where the vaccine was approved. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Europe continues to implement measures to stem illegal migration. The United Kingdom recently won a case to extradite migrants to Rwanda. The scheme led to huge exchanges, and now the Labour Party of the UK says the scheme will be abolished once it wins the next general elections. Kolo Mohammed has details.
After a speech in which he announced his plans to tackle illegal migration, leader of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, says he is committed to scrapping the Rwanda scheme absolutely, promising to smash the gangs who bring asylum seekers to Britain in boats, saying a Labour government will hire hundreds of enforcement officials and use counter-terrorism powers to target them. Starmer pledged that the Labour Party will immediately cancel deportation flights to Rwanda if it enters government. He further accused the Conservative government of gesture politics and criticizing its plans to send asylum seekers to Rwanda as a waste of money. Starmer said if in government, the Labour Party will work with European partners to break the gang's business model.
As the first step in this plan, a new manifesto commitment. We will set up a new command with new powers, new resources, and a new way of doing things. Border Security Command. Now, this is about leveraging the power and potential of dynamic government, based on a counter-terrorism approach which we know works. An end to the fragmentation between policing, the border force and our intelligence agencies.
He aimed to counter Conservative attacks on Labour, accusing the opposition party of having no plan to tackle illegal migration, an issue that is set to be a major battleground in a national election later this year. Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
Chinese President Xi Jinping wrapped up his European tour in Hungary after visiting France and Serbia. His tour championed the need to further deepening trade relations between Europe and China, with Chinese-Russia relationship on the sidelines of his visit to Europe. Kolo Mohammed again tells us more.
Chinese leader Xi Jinping concluded his tour of Europe with a visit to Budapest, where he hailed his deepening relationship with Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán. President Xi said they went through hardships together, defied power politics amid volatile international situations, describing the partnership between Budapest and Beijing as mellow and rich as Togaji wine. The closeness between Xi and Orbán stands in contrast to both leaders' relationships with the European Union. Xi's earlier stop in France was comparatively tense, with French President Emmanuel Macron and EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen persuading him to support Ukraine and change China's approach to trade. In response, President Xi said China and Russia have a no-limits partnership, and Beijing had refrained from condemning Moscow for its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. He said that had been a point of contention between China and the West, with ties becoming confrontational in recent years. President Xi hopes his visit to Europe mitigates some of the damage that had been done to China-Europe ties in recent years, preventing them from eroding further like they have with the USA. China's investment in Budapest is huge, one of which is over $8 billion factory for car battery manufacture, even though opposition is worried about Chinese presence in and around Budapest.
Here around Debrecen, 7 Chinese battery factories are under construction. And there are rumors that more than 40,000 people will be brought from abroad.
The government has very few friends in the European Union and in the broader transatlantic alliance. So the government is looking for new friends, and China is somebody who is interested in having a very good friend within the European Union.
Hungary is said to be the first European Union nation to join the Belt and Road China Development Program. Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
Back to Nigeria now. President Bola Tinubu has conferred the second highest national honor of Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger on the Awojale and paramount ruler of Ijebuland, Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetono, for his immense contributions to national development and good governance. The president made the pronouncement at a public lecture to mark the 19th birthday and 64th coronation anniversary of the monarch, held at Olabisi Onabanjo University, Iwoye, Ogun State. Lekon Abonde reports. Nigerian has joined the League of Countries on the global map of lithium ore processing as President Bola Tinubu inaugurates one of the best such plants in West Africa. Represented by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, President Tinubu says it will position Nigeria as a key player in the lithium market. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports. Bulletin. Now to other reports. The Senate has resolved to lend its support in identifying and revoking thousands of licensees of mining companies who failed to comply with the provisions of the Mining Act 2007. This resolution was reached as the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals Development rounds off a 3-day investigative hearing encompassing a comprehensive review of the Nigerian mining industry. National Assembly correspondent Joshua Ogunjide has more.
Since its amendment, the 2007 Mining Act has been a regulatory compass for stakeholders in the industry. The investigative hearing provided insight on the social inclusion, community development, as well as promotion of sustainable mining practices and environmental protection of mining communities.
A lot of bills are lying in the Senate for the amendment of the Mining Act. by the time we get to it, we'll still invite stakeholders to be part of the public hearing on the amendment of the 2007 Mining Act.
Mining companies present presented their scorecards, highlighting bottlenecks as well as recommendations.
We've successfully helped in the banning of gypsum importation into Nigeria, the banning of limestone import, because we saw that we've met the national demand.
Where environmental audit certificates report are submitted for review, they are expected to pay a sum of 250,000 naira as administrative fee.
Getting the person who doesn't have mineral title within the adjacent area to mine on another person's mining mineral title area is illegal.
So if we write to you that we are coming to your sites, we need to assist us to see your sites, to go around, see what you are doing, show us around as it were. And at the end of the day, we are going to make our recommendations. We have to strongly criminalize illegal mining so that all the illegal miners will go to jail. And like we told the minister on the first day of this investigative hearing, let us use some people to set an example.
As highlighted, infractions and their concomitant effect on the immediate environment as well as investment, key players agree, heightens the burden on the government, hence the need for review of the industry for the better. From the National Assembly, Joshua Gujri, NT News.
You are still watching the news on NTA International. More reports after this time out. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying tuned. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has performed the groundbreaking for the dualization of the 84 kilometers Minna-Bida road. This, he says, is in line with his campaign promise to support subnational governments to guarantee sustainable socio-economic development. Saliu Wanara has more.
Commuters along the Minna-Bida road are already singing a new song in anticipation of new driving experience in the next 2 years.
This road is not supposed to be more than an hour from Bida to Minna, but now it's taking almost more than 2 or 3 hours to fly it.
This is mostly a dominant rural area road where farm produce are being moved from the locality into the towns and cities.
We appreciate the road we want to do for the Niger State. So the driver, they appreciate you, sir.
The Niger State Governor Muhammad Umar Ba'ago says the road infrastructure revolution is as a result of a tripartite arrangement among the federal government, Niger State, and developing partners.
1,000 kilometers of road we have commenced. We had gotten 500 billion naira funding for those jobs. So to allay your fears, no job is going to stop. And above all, I want to specially thank Mr. President for his magnanimity of granting the tax credit scheme to continue.
The landmark economic projects being commissioned today are an indication that Nigeria can work in our lifetime if we put the right people in the right place.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, represented by the son of the soil, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says Niger State is strategic in driving the federal government policy on agricultural revolution.
The president has always insisted that for Nigeria to grow, there must be a larger cooperation between the federal government and the subnationals. So what the governor is doing today is an indication that indeed President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is walking the talk. We do hope that this road will not only reduce travel time between Minna and Bida, but it will also save lives and create avenues for greater economic prosperity for our people.
The president's representative also performed the groundbreaking for the reconstruction of Bida-Wushishi-Zungeru Road. From Bida, Saliu.
Members of Senate and House Committees on Environment say adequate funding for effective implementation of the Nigerian Long-Term Low Emission Development Strategy (LTLETS) and other climate-driven initiatives is imperative for actualization of Nigerians' obligation to the United Nations. This is followed with a commitment towards increasing budgetary allocation to drive the nation's climate agenda. Charles Alpha has more.
Nigeria is dedicated to addressing climate change by adopting eco-friendly development strategies with the aim of achieving net zero emissions by 2060. And one of those strategies is the formal presentation of the Nigeria's long-term low emission development strategy, coded LT-LEDs, to lawmakers who, on their parts, have a very big role to play in accelerating its implementation. Director General, National Council on Climate Change, Salisu Dahiru, who stood in for the Minister of Environment, Balarabe Abbas, says Nigeria's nationally determined contributions, NDC, aims for a 20% reduction in emissions under its unconditional NDC scenario, and by 47% with international assistance. Lawmakers understand that without adequate funding, climate action cannot be realized, and that is why commitments here are such that will make the document work.
The whole of Ministry of Environment has, I think, 200 million on climate change. And you will now look at it. What can the ministry achieved with 200 million votes?
We're here from the National Assembly to make sure that we add our voices to this council, to support them, to get more funding.
With the support that you've just had from the National Assembly, it is our belief that the best is still on its way.
NTAi expect lawmakers to allocate resources for long-term low-emission development strategies. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has refused the application filed by the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, seeking the court to vacate the arrest warrant issued against him. The former governor, who was supposed to be arraigned before the courts on his alleged involvement in corruption-related offenses to the tune of over 80 billion naira, but declined to appear in court. Justice Emeka Nwete equally refused to grant the application for the suspension of the trial pending the outcome of the appeal filed by the former governor through his counsel. Justice Nwete fixed the 13th of June for the arraignment of the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, after his counsel, Abdul Wahab Mohammed, SAN, promised the court that his clients will be available to take his plea. The management of the Nigerian Television Authority says it's ready to collaborate with the West African Action Network on small arms against gun violence. The assurance was given during a courtesy visit to NTA headquarters by members of the non-governmental organization in Abuja. Francis Odojo has more.
It is a fact that the development of any society largely depends on the will and commitment of the people to ensure peace and unity strive. It is for this reason and the need to sensitize and discourage the youth against gun violence that the West African Action Network Group initiated a visit to NTA for collaboration. Bringing words into action is the theme for this year's campaign, and with the media like NTA being the largest TV network in Africa, reorientation of youths against all forms of violence, the group said, could easily be achieved.
You have been serving the country with genuine patriotism. So I want to use this opportunity to appeal to Mr. President to do all the necessary things possible to support the media organizations, both private and public, so that we can collectively unite towards achieving peace for the unity of this country, sustainability of this country.
The Director General of NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, represented by the Executive Director News, Ayo Adeoyi, described the visit as a necessity that requires attention and collaboration, saying the proliferation of small arms is of great concern to every patriotic Nigerian, and NTA, being a national television, will give necessary support to the campaign.
We are partners in progress. So we would like to just furnish us with a program of action to know where we can key in, so that we can together, address this issue of proliferation. It's a big issue that every hand must be on deck.
It is expected that the visit will propel more movement against the misuse of small arms and light weapons in Nigeria. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
In view of the dynamic and complex nature of the nation's current security threats, the Nigerian Army is developing the capacity of its personnel in mastering indigenous languages to better communicate with residents of threatened communities. This is to enhance communication and intelligence gathering, particularly at the grassroots. In a message to a language proficiency course organized by the Nigerian Army Resource Center, Abuja, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Reed Lagbaja, urged military personnel to be proficient in different languages to facilitate intelligence gathering and enhance proactive operations.
The Nigerian Army and its assistance of the Federation and the FCT had necessitated the need for actionable intelligence. You can't get intelligence from the blues. You credible one have to come from the locals. They know what is happening. And that is why we are encouraging all army personnel to be able to speak the 3 major languages in Nigeria, so that anywhere they are, they can easily relate.
Before we go, a quick look at Saturday's weather prospects in Nigeria and major cities around the world. And this is where we end the news. Thanks for watching. I am Vivian Ezadefe, and the sign language interpreter has been Hannah Olayinka. Bye for now.